Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening. Welcome back to Pecuniary Season 8, Episode 2, and I'm your host for tonight, Aqeelah Omar, and today we are going to dive into the topic Madani Budget 2025 Youth Wisdom Meets Expert Vision. So for today's topic, we are going to venture on how the Belanja Madani 2025 strengthened Malaysia, particularly in terms of Islamic education and also Islamic economy itself. We are honoured to have two of our esteemed guests. Firstly, Dr. 𝐼 Farizan, Deputy Director of Macroeconomic Division at the Ministry of Economy. Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you for inviting me for tonight's session.
Most welcome, Doctor. How are you feeling tonight?
Really a bit tired but very excited.
Alhamdulillah, and I believe that watchers of IIUMTV are very excited to have Dr. 𝐼 Farizan tonight in our production Pecuniary. And next, we have our second guest, Brother Syamsul Haris, Vice President of Kuliah of Economics and Management Science. How are you feeling today, brother?
Assalamualaikum and hi. You can call me Brother Sam. Feeling good, but really nervous because there's a very great person sitting beside me, and inshallah I think I need to deliver really well for IIUM, inshallah.
Inshallah, Brother Sam. Tonight we're going to have a very laid-back discussion and intellectual insights sharing session between Dr. Farizan and also Brother Sam, discussing about the intellectual vision about Budget Madani 2025 itself. So before we start ahead, I would love to explain a little bit about the Budget Madani 2025 itself. This year we have the presentation of Budget Madani 2025, and it was designed to enhance Malaysia's economic resilience by focusing on the fiscal management and also in terms of decreasing or reducing national debt itself and the stability of essential services in Malaysia. So, Dr. 𝐼 Farizan, we would love to know, in terms of your, what attracted you to our discussion tonight?
What attracted me to tonight's discussion is, I think, the topic itself about the budget. Through my experience, I was in Ministry of Finance for 20 years, from 2002 until 2021. I was in the Economics and Fiscal Economic Division, so I was involved in a lot of this budget preparation at that time, coming out with the academic report. And once I was in the budget team that prepared the speech itself, so it's something quite close to me, and I think it's very important to give awareness on the students, especially why is it the budget is important. And coming back to my alma mater, I was a former student here, Kuliah of Economics in accountancy, so I think it's an opportunity to come back and to share my experience with my fellow university mates.
Alright, thank you, Dr. Farizan. 10 years are quite a long time for someone that is in the field, and that's a little bit of professional background or academic background of, surprisingly, one of our alumnus of IIUM itself. And we would love to know the personal connections do you have to this topic itself. What attracts you to Budget Madani 2025?
I think Budget Madani for me itself, I think because it's quite related to my job currently, which is about coming out with the 13 Malaysia plan. So it's about also based on this concept of Madani economy. So the budget also is named Budget Madani. So I really wanted to know how does this budget really support the framework of this Madani economy, especially how to help the people, the livelihood, how it helps the economy. So I think and also coming as an economist, I think as a personal connection to see how does the government really help our economy, the people, to increase its livelihood. So that is very personal to me because economy is an area that I've been involved for quite a long time, almost more than 20 years.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farizan. I believe people in the studio and watchers of IIUMTV at home are very, warm-hearted to hear your personal connections to this topic itself. And Brother Sam, listening to Dr. Farizan's professional background or academic background in economics itself, with your background in mind, specifically Vice President of Kuliah of Economics. How do you perceive the role of Malaysia's national budget, specifically Budget Madani 2025, in shaping economic priorities, especially for us, youth and also businesses?
All right. Thank you, sister, for that wonderful introduction and question. I echo what Dr. Farisan said just now about to improve livelihoods, etc. But for me, in youth perspective and in businesses perspective, I think the young generation today, we need to perceive the national budget, Belanjawan 2025, as our guidelines in terms of reshaping our economic future in this era of VUCA, uncertainty. So we need this budget, and we need to see, okay, if this is the budget, this is what we need to do in the next 5 or 10 years. And youth needs to read and analyze the budget today, not just listening to, okay, this party said here, and we need to follow that. No, we need to analyze it, and because this is what future lies upon us. So that's what I hope that youth will perceive this kind of national budget from my POV.
That's very great, Brother Sam. Analyzing the budget Madani 2025 itself and applying it to the situation are one of your hope for our young generation.
Yes.
So moving on to the broader implication, what would you say is the primary purpose of Malaysia's national budget, and how does it influence the country's economic priorities as one of the youth representative tonight?
Okay, if Dr. Farisan wanted to correct me if I'm not that accurate in giving the answer, by all means. But from youth perspectives, and one of the students from Bachelor of Economics in Kuliah of Economics and Management Sciences, we are taught that by our lecturers, by the people out there, that Budget 2025 actually is the document that sets the narrative for our future in terms of economic development and in every aspect actually. Yes, the budget is still in the debate process. It's not finalized yet. There are certain terms, new terms like T15 as we know, kan? The minimum wage from 1,500 increased to 1,700. All the details are there. But for us, I would like it to become the main narrative for our nation in every step of the community. So that when it becomes a narrative, we know what we wanted to achieve later. Not just because, okay, the minimum wage has increased, okay, we can enjoy more. No, it's more than that. It's about our livelihood, as Dr. Farisan said, and it's about our readiness to become resilient in any challenges that will come to us. Yeah.
That's great, Brother Sam. It actually opened up my eyes for tonight, quoting from Dr. Farisan and also Brother Sam. Mainly because it was said that it was the main, you would hope that the budget would be the main framework. And quoting what Dr. Farisan said, belanjawan or economy itself is not just economy, quote unquote, but it includes the household, the livelihood of the people, what influenced the people in Malaysia. And that very shows that economy is not, if not one, but the most influential thing in Malaysia itself in improving our situation as citizens in our country. So as a final question, before we move on to commercial break, Dr. Farisan, if you were the finance minister one day, what would be the first thing you would add to Madani budget and why?
What I would like to add, thank you for, that's a great question. As a finance minister, firstly, I would like to improve our tax collection because I think in terms of our tax collection, as we know, is quite low compared to other countries, around I think 12%, 30%. So maybe we need to have a more wider tax base so that the burden of paying the tax should not be just a few people, but it should be divided equally based on the ability of the people to pay. So you are rich, you pay more, but if you're poor, then you pay according to what you can afford, so that we can, with that more money, we can do a lot more compared to now. And with more money, we don't need to increase our debt. As you know, our debt level is quite high. So I think if we have more allocation, with that, we can also afford more things to help the people, more assistance, and we can rely less on our petroleum. Because, you know, as in the future, we might have less petroleum income from our Petronas. I think the challenges there, so we need to transition towards more renewable. So that would be less income. So I think everything, as you know, the economy is all about money.
Yeah.
We need more money to spend, and as you know, Islam does not really promote having this too huge debt, because then the future generation, your generation, have to pay the future debt. So I think that is something that I really would like to have. But I have so many others more. Maybe that you need one whole night. That one we like to do. But another one is I really need to have something if myself personally, to have maybe a literacy campaign. If personally is that is my passion on reading. So I really need to make sure that all Malaysian able to read and write 100% literacy. So that will be a national effort that we really wanted to do.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farisan. That was a very good initiative as a Finance Minister. Increase the tax collection, and also the second one, increase the literacy of all citizens of Malaysia. I quote unquote, economy is all about money, but it influences not only about money, but the citizens, the livelihood, and Malaysia's situation as one of a whole itself. So for now, that's what we got, the basis or the introduction to Budget Madani 2025. We're going to have a very short commercial break. Stay tuned, and we will be back, inshallah.
Kementerian Pendidikan diberi peruntukan 64.1 bilion ringgit. Tertinggi dalam sejarah. KPT diperuntukkan 18 bilion ringgit tahun ini. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome back to Pecuniary, where it's all about ringgit. We're still in Season 8, Episode 2, and I'm still your host tonight, Aqilah Omar. So for second session tonight, we'll be diving on the allocation budget for IIUM itself. So we all know that the biggest allocation of Budget Madani, Budget Malaysia, was allocated to Budget Madani 2025 with more than 400 billion ringgit. It's the biggest one in the history. So the 10 million ringgit allocation for Islamic economics are provided to International Islamic University Malaysia, IIUM, in Budget Madani 2025. So that marks a very significant investment in advancing Malaysia's Islamic economy and also leadership in the future. And I would love to add, the first objective of this is, to serve as intentionally as a bridge between traditional and also conventional Islamic practices of economics. And secondly, it will, in a way, increase the competency between Malaysia's international and also nationally in between the Islamic economy itself. So this question goes to Brother Sam. How will the 10 million ringgit Malaysia allocation specifically benefit institutions like IIUM in promoting Islamic economic studies?
Okay. To to give the answer specifically, I think it's not fair for the government now because they are still debating. But if you wanted to dive in and dive deep, actually the 10 million is not just for IIUM. It's for IIUM and 𝐿𝒃 University, specifically for Islamic finance. So until we know the real breakdown, how much does IIUM get and how much does 𝐿𝒃 get, I think the main answer should be specifically in terms of the development on one, the curriculum of the Islamic finance, two, the awareness, like Dr. Farisan said, awareness campaign, and third, about the advancements in terms of the sector and industry itself, so that it could be competitive compared to the conventional industry. That's my opinion. However, as we know, even in IIUM, we have Center of Islamic Economics, we have ICFI for Islamic Finance Educators, we have IIIT, we have IIIBF. I think this specific contribution, and the money is given to IIUM, these agencies should drive the Islamic economics forward, because as we know, we are the proponent of Islamic economics since 1983. We are the earliest to do so in Malaysia and perhaps in the Islamic world. So that could be the specific contribution, and we need to work together. All these agencies must work together under one banner so that the income is realized. One point from me, I think earlier this February this year, Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar gave 1 million ringgit Malaysia for IIUM to organize the ICIF, the 15th ICIF, International Conference of Islamic Economics and Finance. All the experts are there, gathered in the same place in Sasana Kijang. I was there as committee, and we could see that we have one narrative and aim for sustainable, humane economy. So I think that is the key for the specific contribution that you asked just now. Perhaps let's see how much IIUM did get from the 10 million ringgit Malaysia.
Inshallah. I love that you say that the 10 million ringgit is actually not specifically for IIUM, but also for other Islamic institutions. And that goes directly to Dr. Farisan. This correlates with your questions. You know, we have these specific institutions, like what you said earlier, that what you participated in Sasana Kijang earlier in February, in terms of the sustainability convention and all that. But how about, you know, the impacts of the allocation in Islamic institution to the research or also the expertise in Islamic finance in Malaysia in the future?
Thank you for the question. I think that conference you mentioned, I also was one of the attendees. I attended the conference, and really I found it very interesting, mention about how we can really invigorate the Islamic economic discussion. But because right now it's more towards Islamic finance, right? Because the name of 𝐿𝒃 also is more on International Institute on Islamic Finance. So I'm not sure, is it more we're focusing on the Islamic finance or on the Islamic economy? Because that is one issue. Islamic economy will be wider, but if knowing 𝐿𝒃 is the focus might be more on Islamic finance. But I think the research should be widened. It's not only about Islamic finance, but it should be more other aspect. Like you mentioned just now about the human economy, how we can create. But I think the research should be related to the outcome, is how we can adopt. It should not be only research. We can put all this beautiful research that I found out as part of my outcome one PhD. We have already so many things. We have done research, Islamic economy, but what is the outcome actually from the research? What are the great things that have come out from all the research that government spent? 10 million is nothing. If only 1 million can be done, good research, then only 10 research can only done with 10 million. But that 10 research, maybe what will be the impact on the society? What changes that you can create? Is it only more intellectual, but how does this intellect can create more change to the society? So I think that is the great question. I hope to see great changes from this 10 million. The outcome may be 10 billion from all the ideas.
Inshallah. And this correlates with my third question. I'm very interested to know, how does this alignment of 10 million, you know, we haven't really specified the budget and all that, but what about the alignment with Malaysia's broader vision to be the pioneer or like the leader in becoming Islamic finance globally?
Yes, for me to be if you can compare the global, maybe like Saudi Arabia, they have huge amount of money, the banks. So maybe one way is how we can create more awareness for Malaysian Muslim to join Islamic finance, because if you can see the data is in EPF, there's still a lot of Muslim that put their money inside EPF who still choose the conventional fund. So that is an opportunity to grow, and the size of our Islamic banking is, I think, more around just 30% of the total size of the asset of the banking sector, and this is quite small. And if that amount, Maybank is considered one of the largest Islamic bank. In Malaysia have one of the largest compared to other country, but in Malaysia itself, the size of the Islamic bank is just 30% of the total asset. So I think the research how we can create awareness to attract all these people to join the Islamic finance.
Thank you so much, Dr. Faris, and I'm very enlightened to see you explain very thoroughly about how we have to look at, this Dubai or Arab Saudi on how they allocate their Islamic finance, Islamic economy into achieving great things for our deen, inshallah. And earlier you said that if you were given the opportunity to be the finance minister, you would love to initiate on the literacy and also increasing the tax collection. What about if you have 1 million ringgit allocated from the Madani Budget to spend on one community project other than the two earlier that you mentioned before? What would be and why?
I think you can guess. I think I will create more a community-based initiative how to increase our literacy. Maybe at the level of some other community that have not been access of the education or quality education, how we can make sure that every community take initiative to increase literacy. Is not only about reading, but how you gain the knowledge from how you read. We need more volunteer to help more people. And when I read the today's newspaper, there are more primary students that drop out from the education. It's not improving. It has been increasing more dropout. So I think we have students that have finished their primary education but unable to read or even to calculate. So that's so they went to school, but they have not gained anything. So I think we need to community-based to improve our literacy, because the basis of civilized society, Masyarakat Madani, is to really able to read. I think that's the first commandment, right? 𝒥𝗶𝒴𝗴𝗶. We have to read. If we have society that are unable to read, how can they join our society, the economic benefit, to get good jobs? So I think that is the first thing of society. We need to make sure that no one is left behind, and the first thing is no one is not unable to read. So that is one of the 1 million if I have to really start something on this literacy awareness on the community level.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farisan. And Brother Sam, for this session, quoting from Dr. Farisan earlier, you have said the literacy is very important amongst the kids, amongst the youngsters, amongst the young generation. And even in Malay proverb, we have the proverb in Malaysia, in Bahasa Malaysia, melentah buluh biarlah dari rebungnya. So that's a very nice and very eloquent idiom to describe our issue as the young generation nowadays. We have a lot of issues of the youngsters dropping out of schools and studies, and it's very, very a sad situation. I would say a very grieving situation for our future. So wrapping up, Brother Sam and also Dr. Farisan points for our session now and earlier. I would love to point out that firstly, we have so much potentials in Islamic economics and also economic finance. And stay tuned in the next commercial break, inshallah.
Are you ready to dive into a fresh perspective on economics that aligns with both ethical and sustainable values? Fairness in trade. Imagine a world where honesty and fairness are at the center of every transaction. That's exactly what Islamic economics encourages. Whether it's buying coffee or closing a major business deal, transparency is key. This principle, known as 𝐴𝐷𝐿, pushes everyone to be open about costs and intentions, reducing the risk of exploitation. 2. Social responsibility. Have you ever thought about how businesses impact society? Islamic economics emphasizes that wealth isn't just about individual gain, it's also about community. Concepts like zakat, a form of charity, remind us that part of our earnings should help those in need. Through this, the economy grows in a way that uplifts everyone. 3. Avoiding harmful practices. Finally, Islamic economics encourages ethical investments and discourages practices that harm people or society, like gambling and risky financial schemes. This principle, called Tawheed, promotes responsible investing and financial behavior that benefits the whole community. So, next time you think about economics, consider these Islamic principles. They're about building a market that respects people, values fairness, and aims for a sustainable, caring society. Empowering minds, empowering markets. This is economics reimagined.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and we're back with Pecuniary, where it's all about ringgit. I'm still your host tonight, Akila Omar. And before we jump into the quiz entertainment session, and before we conclude our lovely, insightful discussion tonight, we are going to have a very quick and very fast, very interactive two-question crossword battle between the youth representative, Brother Shamsu, and also Dr. Farisan, our expert panelist. So the crossword puzzle will be displayed on the screen for the audience to participate. So the first question goes to Dr. Farisan. We're going to reflect together on how this budget Madani are shaping the resilient economic future for Malaysia. There are two questions. The first question goes to Dr. Farisan. One of the key goals of Budget Madani 2025 is to improve Malaysia's economic resilience by investing in Doctor.
Investing
It's in the
technology and innovation.
It's in the vertical axis. Doctor.
Infrastructure.
Yes. That's very quick and that's very fast, Dr. Farisan. Thank you so much, Dr. Farisan. We move on to the second question. Which sector is expected to receive the most funding in Budget Madani 2025 to drive economic growth? Brother Sam.
Vertical or horizontal?
Oh.
Clue.
It's going to be horizontal.
Horizontal
I bet you have to compete with Dr. Farisan. He's very fast.
Oh, I need to very fast also.
Yeah.
Just now I think Dr. Farisan.
Yeah. He coincidentally answered.
Technology and innovation.
Yes, that's your answer. Technology and innovation is the sector expected to receive the most funding in Budget Madani 2025. Okay, so let's reflect together the element to achieve the resilient economy in Budget Madani 2025. So, Dr. Farisan, what are the main takeaways for you to achieve a truly resilient economy in Budget Madani 2025 for the future?
For the future, I believe in the human capital. So in economy, the most important factor is the human capital, the quality of the people. As you know, like an economy like Singapore, the economy doesn't have a lot of land or natural resource, but just because of these people are very innovative, very hardworking, they have a good cultural working, very transparent, very less corruption they are able to become one of the richest country in the world. I think the GDP per income is around more than $80,000, much richer than even United Kingdom. So I think why? Because the people, they have good education. So I think the most important in a budget is how we can really produce the future of our people, good quality with a good cultural, I think good essence. I think that's very, and anything could happen. They could survive any calamity or any problem because they are very unite, and also they instead have the knowledge and also I think the resilience inside themselves. I think that's the most important part.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farisan. Looking at our neighboring country, Singapore, as one of our example to achieve one resilient economy, is a very great example to achieve a great economy in the future and a very resilient, inshallah, Malaysia Madani. And to Brother Sam, just like what I asked Dr. Farisan, what do you think as a youth representative? What are the main takeaways as a young generation point of view to achieve a truly resilient economy? It might be different from Dr. Farisan, and it's fine.
For me, two main takeaways. I think the first thing is resourcefulness, and the second is mastery of knowledge. I think the first one, resourcefulness, is that in Malaysia, in this coming future, as we can see in the Belanjawan and the budget 2025, there are so many. If you can read the initiatives, the grants, the funds given by the government, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar, the Finance Ministry, giving it everything through different agencies. But it's up to the people, it's up to the rakyat to find the right grants for them, to find the right assistance given to them, and they need to work it out on itself. I just give one example about IPR, Initiative Pendapatan Rakyat, initiative by Intan, where you need to work it out on your own. The government, yes, they help you, but you need to move it as well using your own resources. So I think with that resourcefulness, like Dr. said just now, no matter what challenges comes, when you have that drive inside you to find the best solutions using what the government has given to you, then I think it's all right. No matter what economic crisis coming on our way, it's good. The second one, mastery of knowledge. Okay, this I wanted to focus on our youth. I really hope that youth in Malaysia today, you are not that exposed or influenced that easily by certain parties saying that, okay, when this allocation is given to you, wow, this is such a great move. But I think you need to question why. One. And then the next question is that, is this a really good move? What's the rationale behind it? You cannot just take the budget 2025 and say, this is the best budget ever. No, you need to question it. When we question it, the spirit of inquiry, and back to Doctor's answer just now, to have awareness, to read first. So it's back to basics actually. And we read, we have the knowledge about the budget, then you are informed. So whatever party is trying to deceive you, you know the right answer. And you will question, not to say question the government, but I think we need to question and
do some research first.
And give positive feedbacks back to the government. Because one last point from me is that in this question, youth today, they are not the leaders of tomorrow. They are leaders of today. They need to decide today based on knowledge that they have. So if they don't have the knowledge, how we wanted to nurture that spirit in them throughout the budget 2025 and even in this debate nowadays. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brother Sam. I feel very high-spirited listening to your opinion, especially as a young generation myself. It's very true, and I'm actually very, quite afraid to admit this, but it's very easily influenced. Moreover, the Gen Z, is very easy to influence, and I agree very much with the advice or suggestions from Dr. Wan Farisan. We have to be more literate in reading in starting literacy in Malaysia itself. And I believe in the Quran we have fatabayyanu, do some research first when you receive the news before totally agreeing with the news. And it's very applicable to today's generation or to this year, and to this era especially. Moreover, this funding, last but not least, my question is, how do you believe that, from financial literacy, how will we support these young students to be more anticipated, to attract them to specialize in Islamic scholars, or to be one of the students participating in Islamic economics in the future? That will
you mentioned about how we can encourage students to participate in the Islamic economics, Islamic finance. I believe is one of the factors is for the lecturer, the teachers itself. I think the lecturer plays an important role to really talk with the student and we share stories. Why is it important, Islamic finance, and to attract all the students? I think because, as we know, teachers play an important role to really attract all the students. Maybe they can start with a games, or maybe they can invite the students go outside and eat outside, and then through that much closer, and then you can really talk about why is important Islamic finance, not just an academic, but really on the personal level. And then these students will be attracted because they can see through this lecturer how they can really investigate their love for knowledge. I think that's very important because through my experience doing a PhD, I think the role of the teachers in really encouraging the student to really do find the research is very important to lead them on the right path. The teachers, then I think the student can, when they started already, then I think they can start on the correct path. Because if they started search from their own, they might be lead astray to a different type of knowledge of Islamic finance. Because right now, especially the student, is they don't read much. What I find out is they only read Facebook even, and sometimes even lazy, they only TikTok something. And then we have TikTok economists right now. Anyone can become economist. So people who studied PhD 4 years are not being consulted, but you have TikTok, immediately they will follow all these influencer on economic what's the view. So this is, the teachers, the lecturers should become the alternative, a better alternative towards their student that they can really follow, encourage, and really talk to the student, not only on the surface, but talk to their heart, really take their heart and bring them towards this knowledge. I think that is the most, I believe, is very important for any knowledge. The teachers play important role.
Do you have anything to add up, Brother Sam, before we wrap it up?
I think a short one from me. When Doctor said about lecturers, right? My first class in this semester, actually, my lecturer in Islamic banking and finance subject, he asked me one question that intrigues my mind. How Islamic is Islamic banking? That one question just struck my mind like, oh, okay. Of course, Islamic banking is Islamic, right? But it's actually opened the doors to many more unanswered questions. So I think the solution is that if Doctor said it's the lecturers, for me it's the students itself and the industry and the country. You need to stop. All of us needs to stop to treat Islamic banking or Islamic finance, Islamic economics as an option. Treat it as the primary action that we need to take action upon. Not just an option, we are practicing conventional banking, so we should follow this one, the whole world is following it. No. And we have the best condition, which is Islamic one, we should follow that because it's the best model that we are offering. That's my opinion to support Doctor's point just now.
Thank you so much, Brother Sam, and also Dr. Farisan, for your sharing knowledge and also our lovely intellectual discussion tonight. I would say from getting both of the points of Brother Sam and also Dr. Farisan, the role of teachers or lecturers and also students taking initiatives are very, very important. And the main one is us gaining literacy and, fatabayyanu before we start believing or start following something that we see everything in the internet itself. So that's why you guys need to stay tuned in IIUMTV, including our social media, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and also YouTube. Stay tuned with us and stay tuned with the previous episode with different topics every week, and stay tuned with Pecuniary, where it's all about ringgit. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Akila signing out.